you all rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody's received the minutes. We had multiple minutes. We had the agenda on the 15th of April, the town board on the 22nd, and then we had our special town board meeting on the 9th of May. So, you've all, any comments? Make a motion to pass the minutes. Second. Second by Mr. Barnes. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So okay, thank you. Judy, thank you.
For the general fund, $36,014,805.
Huh?
The highway
Court
fund,
when you can't be filming here.
$21,000.
Court, oh, that's not true. Check open meetings law.
Capital accounts, $11,632.80, total of $73,435.10.
Make a motion. Pass these things out.
Right.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bell. Aye. Opposed? So carried. Barbara?
I'd like to make a motion that all board members got their financials and looked them over. I'd like to make a motion to accept supervisor's report.
Seconded by Mr. Davis. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Okay, so first on the agenda, we had a couple resolutions come forth here at kind of the last minute. One being the request and an application that was approved from the county for, hold on one second, for the hiring of a transfer station attendant. This individual, I think he's just of the age of 16, and he's was interested in working, so he went ahead and got his working papers, got fully approved by the county to be able to work for us. And his name is Ash Devins. Seems to be a very nice young man, and at the request by Robert from the transfer station, I'd like to put forth a resolution to hire Mr. Ash. Whereas the transfer station has been getting steadily busier, and whereas Ash Devins has applied to work and has been approved by the Ulster County Personnel Department, therefore be it resolved to hire Mr. Devins to start work on June 1st at the rate of $11.80 per hour. Motion set by myself. Is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Zell. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. He will just be working the Saturday shifts until he gets a little more into his belt, and his parents maybe work in the summertime. So he'll be starting on Saturday.
Is there no curfew?
Well, I'm sorry about that. I think we're done at 3. Tuesday at 6 o'clock, so I think we're still good. Transfer station. So I'm going to stay on par with the transfer station. Bob Matheson, our transfer station manager, has requested another pay raise for Javier on the basis of pretty much based on merit. Actually, I'll read this letter by Robert. So to the planning, to the town board. To whom it may concern, I would like to request that Javier Perez be granted a wage increase based on merit due to exemplary performance in his job position. He has been taking charge of many small detail involved in the being of crew foreman and assistant manager. He is making only slightly more than a newly installed entrance wage, as there was no adjustment in higher wage employees. So when the state came,
Right.
remember we bumped everybody to 1180 based on, so his hourly rate was kind of like, it's currently 12.45. So he's, you know, just making a little more than the guy that just got hired today, matter of fact. He's become a leader, making everyone stay on their toes and demanding accuracy and proper demeanor at all times. I am hoping that someday he will take my place in this job, as I will not be here forever. I also would like to take a vacation sometimes. Trust me, he hasn't taken a vacation, Bob. And without Javier there, I would not feel comfortable or even able to leave my at any length of time. As to this amount of increase, he's requesting $1 per hour. We only have about 6 more months roughly to the new year, so you know, I don't know if $1 an hour, if we want to, you know, give him an even $13 an hour, you know, but it's up. I'll leave it up to the board. He's requesting $1, which would bring him up to $13.45 an hour. We can. This is just up for discussion. I don't have a resolution or anything, but I do want to bring it to the board's attention. This letter came at the same time as the hiring of Mr. Ash. So I'll be responding back with you guys throughout the month, and we'll come back to that. Okay.
Interesting comments from the peanut gallery.
Sure.
I've had very good relations with him. I think he does a great job. I think he's worth at least $15 an hour.
Thank you.
No, he's definitely good. I've been up several times in the last couple of weeks, and I've taken note of what goes on up there. Out here is definitely
How much is contract now, do you know?
just under 15.
Oh,
So, we do have another CAC advisor. Would you like to?
okay, sure.
There's background is in there if you. That's the county came forth. Oh, for amendment. Yeah, for the amendment that we did last week. They had to revise it and look to see the fact that we don't have a GIS. They would like us to revise that resolution to state that. While you guys are looking those over, I'll bring forth. Obviously, everyone knows about the tragic fatality here at the 209 Wine Coop intersection. I have been given a letter, came to me over the weekend, by Cindy Cimarano. This is just a P.O. box, but it's Hurley, New York. I will read the letter aloud, and then I've spoken to Supervisor Quigley, and both he and I will be putting forth a motion to have traffic study. Dear Supervisor Perry, yesterday there was yet another fatal accident in front of our home, my house. Looks down on the intersection of Route 209 and Wynkoop Street in Hurley. I cannot even recall any longer how many people I've seen tragically lost their lives there, and certainly not how many came close or were lucky enough to survive. The time to make some sort of alterations in speed and configurations was a long time ago, but seems to be becoming increasingly urgent. I've thought a lot about this: traffic light, turning lane, reduced speed. What seems to make most sense would be the reduction of speed in this corridor to a 45, as was done on Route 28. I drive the route regularly, and the idea of having to slow down that much pains me, but I have come to the belief that it to be necessary. Starting where the highway narrows from the 4 lanes into 2, continuing until just south of the village, which must be in town, makes the most sense for several reasons. First, it makes sense to slow down where the road narrows, and it already generally necessarily becomes the entrance the entrance and exit to Route 28 that occurs just before they're heading south. This way, the reduction in speed feels logic and not like speed traps signage. Secondly, usage on this stretch of the road has changed greatly over the past several years. The Catskill Mountain Railroad periodically reactivates the exempt railroad crossing, which means some poor soul wanders out into the middle of the highway with the lantern to get the people to stop in an unexpected train. The state police barracks relocated 209, resulting in an additional exit and entrance. The rail trail added 2 entrances and additional parking lots on Russell Road, and resulting in additional traffic exiting and re-entering the highway on this stretch. I am sending this letter to several of you because, although I try to reach it, who specifically this should be addressed to remained unclear, state highway, 2 towns, county jurisdictions, please take to each other and come up with a plan to petition the state for a change in the speed limit in this corridor. You may be saving a life of one of your own. So, with that, like I said earlier, I did speak to Mr. Quigley. He's moving forward with the motion as well. So I'd like to present the motion. Motion to authorize the town clerk to send a letter to New York State DOT Regional 8 Traffic Engineer to request assistance in the matter of the safety of the intersection of State Route 209 and Wine Creek Road in the town of Hurley. I get a second.
Second.
Mrs. Zell.
What is the speed limit when you're going through Stone Ridge?
45.
It's 45.
It might even be reduced down to where we get to the school and then into the
It's
town.
40,
right?
it's
By
40.
Emmanuel's and the
Yeah, 'cause
plaza.
that's what I was thinking, like, you have that traffic coming out of Emmanuel's.
I think it's 40
just
and
curious what it
45
was
and
there.
back to 55. So I think once you get just to the main turn up here, it turns back to
It turns
55.
back,
So which is a terrible turn to begin with.
right, because that's where,
Potentially, I don't know, I did sit with the county DOT, and I do have a traffic study being, currently going to be set for Schoolhouse Lane, Main Street, down through Wine Coop, but obviously not 209 based on the fact that it's a state. So potentially what I'd like to do is maybe see the 2 identities work together, and figure out a traffic study that maybe we can, coincide and work with, multiple levels. So,
Let's keep us 45 so it hits the twin lane.
I would-
try to do.
either the twin lanes or at least the overpass,
Yeah,
Sure.
just saying.
just past the rail trails.
Rail
Let's
trail,
keep the
yeah,
rail
trail
trails,
system with the track.
specifically with all the people walking.
Yeah.
I agree with the 45 mile an hour speed limit. But, having dealt with the state, just to get the speed limit lowered on Tanglewood Road,
Mhm.
I still don't know how that was accomplished. Nobody else is telling me, nobody else seems to know, so I endorse it. I don't know, because we've had a lot of accidents,
Yes.
it's a dangerous intersection,
At least 2 fatalities in the last
Yeah.
1 week.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get to decrease it to 45. Somebody has to go out there and do enforcement to make sure 45 is the speed limit.
Mhm.
They had that on Route 28 by Hobo Deli.
right,
It used to be 55, and they requested it had a stop like that, and the state said no, and they actually lowered the speed limit down to 45 and reduced the accidents tremendously.
Well, the reason they reduced it is because 2 state troopers got killed
That's
further out,
yeah.
trying to chase a speeder.
Well, I can tell you, speaking with DOT, I don't foresee them putting
Change that
stop
speed limit
like
before
that,
the
stop
Tuesday.
lights.
Change that speed limit.
we asked them to
2
pass
state
the
cops
stop sign.
got killed by the
Well, what they did
375
in
intersection.
28,
They changed
they
the speed
actually
limit
hired
from 40 to
troopers
45 on Route 28 a
patrolled
long
Route
time.
28 around
No,
Hobo
it's
Deli,
only
and
55,
they get tickets out. So in other
It's
words,
45 from
all the costs
375
that
that's the
were
church
done
circle, right?
with lowering the speed limit,
Yeah,
they were about the fines.
but they changed that before there was 2 state cops. I believe so,
Right.
Several police agencies like do that, other agencies that do that, really just the state police and the sheriff that are part of these things. I agree with that, I should be 45.
Yeah, it does.
It's just,
It shows me like that kind of, like a village or town
Yeah.
that's approaching it.
Right, you would think,
I mean, just the fact that there is no village, town that borders it in a sense,
Right.
it shouldn't inhibit having a lower speed limit.
So, get my vote.
Yep, motion's on the floor, I have a second, all in favor? Opposed? So carried, and we should get that out to, tomorrow, and I'll, confirm with Mr. Quigley, how he thinks we should go about identifying it with the county as well, maybe we can, like I said, tie this in together. That traffic study's not gonna happen until late this year. So I'm gonna it'll come back to the, CAC.
Mhm.
Did you want to, that was a resolution?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
do you want me to read it, or?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Did Matt, did anybody else want to say? Guys,
You sent
resume?
it out, right?
Resolution number for 2019. Resolution to appoint new member to the Conservation Advisory Council. Whereas the Conservation Advisory Council is seeking new members, and whereas Hurley resident Tony Bonavist has expressed an interest in joining the council. Therefore, be it resolved to appoint Tony Bonavist to the CAC for a 9-year term ending May 31st, 2028. Wow.
9-year term.
Yeah.
So we forewarned him on that.
Oh, okay.
He was still gung ho.
Good.
Well, it goes right, he has a degree, he worked for the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for many years. He was asked to work as an instructor at the Joan and Lee Wolf School of Fly Fishing, the Beaver Kill, so he's pretty well educated, yeah.
He's, I think he's even written a couple.
He's published a couple articles, so, sounds good.
So he came highly recommended as well
Yeah.
from Joan, our chair.
Oh, John Massey,
Yep.
oh, okay,
So,
okay.
so, I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So
So
carried.
do we have any more openings on that board, or is that
There's actually still one more.
one more?
So, yep, so there was 6, and then Joan, so there's 7, so now there's 8, so.
Okay.
Matt, did you get a chance to, review?
Yeah. Yep. Will I read it or?
Sure.
Okay.
Trying to bump everybody in.
So you want to do all the reading, huh? Alright, Town Board of the Town of Hurley, negative declaration under secret, local law amending Article 2 and adding Article 7 of Town 210 zoning of the town code to implement various recommendations of the planning board. Resolution determining significance under secret with respect to the adoption of local law number 1, 2019. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Hurley, hereas known as the Town Board, has determined that the adoption local law number 1, 2019 is desirable and necessary. And whereas the Town Board prepared a full environmental assessment form, Part 1, 2, and 3 for the proposed action, with the full environmental assessment form being fully reviewed by the Town Board. And whereas upon review of the local law, the Town Board, which declared itself to be lead agency under SECR, by resolution dated November 26, 2018, determined that the proposed action is subject to the State Environmental Quality Review Act and its implementing regulations. And whereas the Town Board compared the environmental assessment form to the thresholds for classifying this action as set forth in 6 New York CRR 617.4 and determined that the project constitutes a Type 1 action pursuant to SECR. And whereas proposed action was referred to the Ulster County Planning Department's sections 239-1 and M of the General Municipal Law, and whereas its February 6, 2019 meeting, the County Planning Board issued a required modification with respect to the proposed local law number 1 of 2019, and as follows. Quote, an amended zoning map for the entire town that shows the new neighborhood commercial parcels in the Route 28 overlay district will be need to be provided as part of the approval of these amendments. The county requests that the updated map be submitted in GIS mapping format for inclusion as part of your countywide zoning geodatabase. Whereas the existing zoning map was amended to show the revisions to the zoning district boundaries to, in part, address the changes requested by the county planning board. However, such map, while in digital PDF format, is not provided in a GIS format since the town of Hurley does not have GIS mapping capabilities. And whereas the town board held its public hearing on local law on April 22nd, 2019, and now, therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to SECR, the Hurley Town Board, based upon its review of the full EAF, makes the determinations set forth below, and be it further resolved, the Town Board determines that according to its review of the full EAF, including expanded Part 3 thereof, there will be no significant adverse impacts on the environment as measured against the criteria for determination significance under 6 NYCRR 617.7C. And be it further resolved that this resolution is a negative declaration under SECRA, and the information required by 6 NYCRR 617.12A is attached hereto and incorporated herein. And be it further resolved, the town of Hurley Town Board has updated its zoning map. However, it hereby overrides the Ulster County Planning Board required modification to provide a revised in GIS format, since the town of Hurley does not have GIS mapping capabilities. And be it further resolved, the town board hereby directs the secretary of the board to file a copy of this resolution with A, the supervisor of the town of Hurley, B, the town clerk, C, the lead agency, excuse me, D, all interested agencies, and E, any person who has, excuse me, requested a copy. And be it further resolved, the town board hereby adopts local law number 1 of 2019 pursuant to New York State Town Law 264, and further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Motion by me, I'll make the motion. Accept this. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, so say.
Can I ask a question? Yeah, I'm sorry, but can you be specific about what local law number 1 is, or what this exactly means?
So local law was we had our public hearing last week. This is a local law amendment for the 18.5 from an R1. Basically, the county came back and stated that we didn't clarify in that resolution that we did not have the GIS, so they reflected back to us to counter, to revote the fact that they didn't have the GIS. So in turn, we revoted on that.
Are you reopening the public hearing though?
No.
Have you checked with your attorney?
Yeah.
Usually, you have to make your secret determination before you hold your public
We did
hearing.
make the secret determination. The secret determination was done, it was a negative debt. This was a recap for the fact that the town did not acknowledge it that it had the GIS capabilities of the town, through the town, right? So we had a motion on the table. Is there a second by Bill? All in favor?
That doesn't apply to me.
Opposed? So carried.
Yeah.
What would it take to get, GIS capabilities disclosed?
It's a good question. The county has it, and
When 911 has my phone number, then it doesn't apply to me.
The big towns do?
yeah, city,
Just
town.
making a statement.
I just didn't know that was
You
like
happen to make a
unusual.
statement
Me
about
too.
cell phones.
So what'll happen is,
So,
what we're gonna
I'm
probably end
making
up
a
doing
statement
is,
about cell phones.
referring this back to the county.
That's
Have them
recorded.
do their GIS, they'll charge us.
Yeah.
But that's how we'll get all of our mapping up to date, and then that'll satisfy that.
John, this is only for that 1 mile stretch on 28 that we're referring to.
That and also there's a parcel of Twin Ponds
Okay.
that was changed from an R1 to an A2.5.
Now, I believe I read an article not too long ago in regards to a second, take a look at the remainder of Hurley. This is only for that one section.
That's
but
it, yeah, just that one area, just the
When
overlay.
would you expect something in regards to the rest of the county?
So that's a good question. So right now, we're formulating different committees to go forth to move, to update our zoning and our comprehensive plans. So those are all taking place as we speak. So one of that gentleman also is, he's worked on comprehensive plans before. So he's
When are
interested.
such meetings going to take place?
I would say in the beginning of this month, next couple of weeks, I'll start reaching out and putting things forth. There was a situation where I guess the county, the attorneys that were sitting in the back did submit a form requesting that the town hold off on sending that to the state so that the county can review it further request by them. So as of right now, I have not sent the moratorium up to the state. June 5th, the county planning board will meet and potentially give us some recommendations at that point.
Because there was an article in the paper a couple of days ago that made it sound like it was almost a done deal already.
Should have been, should have been. Some things were brought up in the audience that, you know, brought some attention to the attorneys, and they actually took that and ran. And, so with the county's, request, they've asked to hold it so that we don't send it up to the state as of yet, so been put into law as of right now.
And such meetings are going to be advertised so people know when they're on.
Absolutely. I can't say all of them will be public. I mean, we'll probably have like, you know, about 5 to 7 people, you know, getting together, you know, on a very regular basis. Once we determine certain things, we'll definitely open that up to the public for comments, discussion, changes, go back to the drawing board, things of that nature. This process is not gonna be an overnight process. As much as we'd like to, make haste with it, so that, you know, other developers and situations that potentially could come up aren't, you know, sitting around waiting. So this isn't something we wanna sit on. We definitely wanna work on it, you know, kinda hastily, but make sure that we do what's right for the town as a whole. Not just certain areas, but as a
So
whole.
what you're saying, it is a priority,
Absolutely, yes, sir. It's actually other than broadband, it's the only other priority I'm working on right now. Other than daily tasks. But anyway, the resolution for surplus. Mike's not here tonight. I had some questions for him. I think we can put forth this resolution for the surplus to sell, but we do have some underlying issues for some requests for capital funds, but we have no, he's not showing any details of any projects, he's just requesting money.
Did you say what, he's not here?
I have not heard from him. So,
You heard from him?
No, it hasn't put forth any backup on what go through the capital fund, so it's
No.
not appear to
There's been a request several times to meet with you.
Yep.
Any projects he's putting forth should go through the liaison and brought back to the town board. I can't see spending $90,000 without having I mean, it's not happening.
Right.
You know, I'm not putting tax dollars out there without having a plan of action. And all of us being on the same table. I can't do that. But I will put forth this resolution for surplus for the town highway equipment. Whereas the town of Hurley Highway Superintendent identifies the following vehicles and equipment as surplus with the intent to sell: 1986 Ford tanker truck, a 2001 Ford 350 dump, 2002 Sterling vacuum truck, 1993 Double D 90 10-ton roller, 1998 JCB backhoe, 1987 JD crawler loader, and tire safety inflation rack. Whereas these revenues will go back into the general fund, therefore let it be resolved to grant permission to the highway superintendent to advertise the sale of this equipment. Motion made by myself,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Claire. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. Let Mr. Schultz know you can move forward on that. And I'll table this resolution until we get more information on what's going on. Matt, I also printed out the vehicle
Yep.
description. Now, it's just based on, I'm not sure if it's based on, you know, if this number one item should be the first thing that we think about replacing, or, you know.
I kinda asked him for some clarification on that too, on what he wanted first, how he wanted to go, and kinda get the view that he's looking too.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it'd be
Look
great.
at it with him.
So you'll, once you get some more detail on this, we'll,
Yep.
I mean, this is how I'm gonna be able to budget for the following year, and there's also a motion at the state level right now to only allow $60,000 worth of general funds to go into purchasing of new equipment. So, I mean, it's insane, you know, what the state's looking, I mean, some of these pieces of equipment are $250,000. So Mike really needs to step up here and get me some budgeting information so I can do the best I can for moving forward here. Okay. Last month I brought up the opportunity that has arisen about a charging station at the town hall here. I've moved forward and did some investigative work. So primarily these charging stations, the one that has been told to us, I've been working hand in hand with Cornell Cooperative in NYSERDA. The two quotes that I got, even though the one is about $2,000 more than the other, on the basis of, it's literally about $2,000 more. On the basis of what they both stated, it's a much easier updated hardware. It's been in service longer, so more cars are actually functioning and pick it up. So, for example, your phone, an app, or your car itself, it determines where certain charging stations are. So this particular charging station, which is a charging point CT4021, happens to be very well used throughout the country. So it does come with a full service warranty, and I've already spoken to Mike at the highway. It would just be trenching. They would come in and do all the work and updating, and they would also work alongside Central Hudson to attach and make it operational.
This is here?
So the opportunity to actually make money for the town is there. On the basis, first of all, we have the solar out back, so we'll be running off solar. At the same time, it's roughly about 35 cents a kilowatt hour. So
how do people pay for this? Credit card?
exactly, yeah. So then it's refunded back through the town. So it's definitely an opportunity. I do see the future, steadily arising. And one of the purchases eventually we're gonna have to make is the assessor's car, clerk, and secretary, and everybody else that uses it. Potentially could be an electric car, and basically would cost us nothing to run, be green. So we'd be able to charge it as well. So we have multiple functions. One could potentially make money for the town as well as charge our.
So our vehicle will charge for free?
Correct. Well, off the solar, so.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, it's been a lot of rain lately, so I don't know.
I know, yeah.
So not getting as much kickback as we used to. But I wanted to bring it forth, and also I just wanted to acknowledge that our building line in our one fund, or our 1H fund, we roughly have about $418,000. So with this grant, currently there's still money available through the state. Out of the $13,141, the state will reimburse us $8,000 of that, which would be a total of $5,141. That's everything installed except for the guys coming down from the highway department. So I would like to get just a feel. So if I should move forward for next month, potentially put forth a resolution.
John,
Yes,
is that for two stations?
two stations.
Did you get the email that I forwarded to you from NYSERDA?
In reference to potentially with the handicap situation.
Well, no, in reference to some new monies possibly coming out.
I did, and I forwarded
Okay.
to them. They still feel that this is the better
All right,
option.
I just want to make sure that you got it.
That option might come into play if this money runs out, which is not gonna be
Okay.
much longer. But yeah, the potential for the 8,000. The only other reason we don't qualify for certain grants is because we're tax exempt. So we don't get the tax exempt 50%, or else we would have saved a lot more. And
Yeah, the way it was explained to me with regards to the accessibility, currently it's not required, but in the future it will be required. So they're kind of just like striping one, but not necessarily marking it as strictly accessible.
right,
So
get it in now while it's grandfathered.
no, it's not going to be grandfathered in. I'm just telling what the regulations are now, and next year when they adopt them, or next year and a half when they change them.
It's just something to take into consideration.
Right,
Part of
yeah,
the
if we're
response
gonna
we
do
make
it,
is
let's-
that with
Well,
wider
yeah, the
area.
location that I've had the surveyor come out, the location would be over by, our signboard, the back of it. So you have the boulders and such, and we can kind of like hide it right there by the sign. Yeah, so, it was either that pole that it can come off of from this solar, or we could do it in front of where Verizon has their big boxes here where all the bushes are. So one of those two poles both run off of, somehow connected to the solar. So I will move forward on that and have that prepared for us next month. Thank you. That'll help us with the climate smart.
Definitely will.
Yeah.
Okay, bad news. Ooh. I was talking with our assessor, the town's coming up on a revow pretty soon here. This is not a cheap thing to do. So, our last revow was in 2013, so I'm going to look into this a little more. I do know that potentially we could start out with like the data collection aspect of it, and we could do that in-house. Brittany said she would be able to do that. So I'm trying to get some numbers available. One of the things I can tell you, the closest town that we found, which was, that was just currently done, 2018, was Rhinebeck, which is across the river. I know that came to about $350,000. So it is not cheap. So I'll continue to work on this and keep you updated. So if you want to keep our 100% assessment,
Did that come from the state?
this came from the state. Yeah, these were all numbers from the state. And Brittany pulled them from her from Orbs. So we will definitely have to look into this. I think she would have to start this process if we wanted to have it done this year. I think she said she had to start it by late June or early July, so she has to have it done by November to qualify for the 2021 revals. So, and currently right now there's zero money in that fund line. Okay, I about, I don't know, 4 months ago, Cindy Gill came to us in reference to the rendering she wants to do on the 219 corridor by the rail trail. So DOT did approve it. So we've submitted all of it. Yeah, it's so what it's gonna be, and she was pretty broken up about it because she wanted it to be corn, obviously, with the Gill family and everything. But since the change, it's gonna be fields of sunflowers with the Esopus going through it with a sunset. It's pretty bright, pretty colorful. It looked really nice. So the state approved it. So she's gonna start, I think, pretty soon once school gets out. And it's all on her, for as far as the painting and everything. And I did recommend, if there's any vandalism or any kind of retouching up, she said she would, at haste, the best she could, repair it at her own cost. So that was very nice of her.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay, lastly, we should have brought this up at the transfer station. I did get prices back for the covers for the transfer station. This would cover the rest of the bins that are there, plus the one that's on the side, that's garbage. So you have all your recyclables and the other garbage bin fully enclosed. So we're taking away water, basically, and we're paying about last summer between August through November, we were paying about 3,000 more a drop based on water that came through that past winter. So it doesn't look like it's letting up much. So I will forward these are the bids for it. The bids are under $20,000. So with that, we didn't have to have multiple bids. The other two companies, and I've talked to Rich Ruth from your areas. One's out of Florida, and I think one's out of like Ohio maybe. So this company happens to be out of Utica, so we'd be saving a lot on shipping and delivery of things. So I'll have this a little more detailed for everybody, but the cost did